He was an Academy Award winner for Glory and a nominee tonight for his performance in Malcolm X. The other guy is the man who told us there's no crying in baseball, unless you work for George Steinbrenner. Baseball opening day is next week, and George is going to be throwing out the first manager. Would you please welcome two great actors, Denzel Washington and Tom Hanks.
When the screen tells us a story based on the absolute truth, it's usually a documentary film.
If it's a distortion of the truth, it's usually a news report.
The nominees for documentary short subjects are At the Edge of Conquest, The Journey of Chief YY, Jeffrey O'Connor, producer.
Beyond Imagining, Margaret Anderson and the Little Review, Wendy L. Weinberg, producer.
The Colors of My Father, A Portrait of Sam Borenstein, Richard Elson, Sally Bachner, producers.
Educating Peter, Thomas C. Goodwin, Gerardine Wurzburg, producers.
When Abortion Was Illegal, Untold Stories, Dorothy Fadiman, producer.
For the best achievement in documentary short subjects, the Oscar goes to Educating Peter, Thomas C. Goodwin, and Gerardine Wurzburg, producer.
Pretty heavy, and you have to carry two. A thank you, Academy, and I'm dedicating this to my partner, Tom Goodwin, business partner, who died this past year, and his wife, Dorothy Jackson. At Home Box Office, I want to thank, for her vision and faith, Sheila Nevins, and thank you, Michael Fuchs, Carol Rosen, Milton Ginsburg, and Carrie Antolis. Thanks and love to Peter's family, Martha Stallings, and the third grade class at Gilbert Linkus, Doug Bicklin, Gary Griffin, Bob Silverthorne, Dan Rogers, and from State of the Art, Laura Niebuhr, Debbie Merton, Roberta Hankin, Susan Gonzalez, my family and siblings, my husband Grady, my daughters Charlotte and Emily, and I'd like to say for the advocates of full inclusion for people with disabilities in our society, let us please move forward. Thank you very much.
And she also wanted to thank Michael. No. Now let's look at the nominated documentary features. They are
Changing Our Minds, the story of Dr. Evelyn Hooker, David Hoagland, producer.
Fires of Kuwait, Sally Dundas, producer.
Liberators, Fighting on Two Fronts in World War II, William Miles, Nina Rosenblum, producers.
Music for the Movies, Bernard Herrmann, Margaret Smilo, Roma Barron, producers.
The Panama Deception, Barbara Trent, David Casper, producers.
And the Oscar for Best Achievement in Documentary Features goes to The Panama Deception, Barbara Trent and David Casper, producers.
Thank you. First, I'd like to acknowledge a most remarkable man, the writer, the editor, one of the producers, the co-founder and co-director of the Empowerment Project, which supports many filmmakers every year, David Casper. Thank you. As well as the other two producers without whose perseverance the film would never have been completed, Nico Paniguti and Joanne Doroshow. We'd like to take a moment and dedicate this film to all the people who have worked so hard for justice and truth and peace around the world, and particularly the 4 people who have died who were working in association with this film, and the hundreds and possibly thousands of Panamanians who died in this invasion, whose stories might never otherwise be told because of the deceptive practices and tactics of our government, with the complicity, I don't like it either, but it's the way it is, with the complicity of the major media. We would like to also dedicate the film to the courageous Panamanian journalists and human rights activists who have defied the Panamanian ban against the screening of this film at personal risk to show it in the last few weeks in Panama, which, by the way, reversed the censorship ban, which was nationwide, and to the millions of Americans who may or may not get to see this film now that public TV has also refused a broadcast. In closing, I'd just like to say we have a tremendous amount of potential in the world, and those of us here have a tremendous amount of potential to impact the world. Let's use it. Let's challenge this new administration to reverse the legacy that we have left through our policies in the world and become the Americans that we're capable of. Thank you very, very much.
Another record. You know, when you're growing up, where I did, Long Beach, Long Island, sitting there with my brothers and my mom and my dad watching this show all the years that we watched it, you never think you get to say this sentence. Ladies and gentlemen, Sophia Loren.